Hello friends of YouTube, it is PaulineJo back again for another Walden University related video. Thank you so much for stopping by. I hope you are doing okay, especially if you're tuning in to this video during the pandemic. If you haven't already, I would greatly appreciate if you subscribe to my channel. I do mostly beauty, vlog, and now social work related videos. On another note, before we get started, this is not an ad, but fun fact. YouTube Premium members now have the option of downloading videos for on-the-go and easy listening. So if you're driving, on the train, exercising, or whatnot, you can listen to this podcast style if you'd like. And on a third note, in this introduction, I want to say as a disclaimer, I am not an employee nor am I getting paid by Walden University. Although some of this information may be obvious to some, for others, it might not be. So I do ask that if you have any questions or comments, that you remain respectful as I will remain respectful to you. I understand that the MSW program is stressful as it is, and I am here to help make things easier. So please let me help you. So the first step is to be very proactive with your time. If you are tuning into this video, you have come to the right place. But from now on until you get this internship, I want you to be proactive with your time. The overall goal with time management in terms of the internship search is to be as ahead as possible. You will need much more time than you think. Trust me, I know this from experience. You don't have a coordinator doing it all for you, so you have to do everything yourself from scratch. Walden is a little bit cheaper than, say, a traditional school, so when you're paying less, one of the things that you're not getting is having those direct connections. You literally have to create the connections from the very beginning. From scratch. You don't get any interviews handed to you. You have to do everything from scratch. Sorry for that rant, but just wanted to emphasize that. For most agencies, you will be building the relationship from the very beginning, and you will be independently going through the process, managing your schoolwork, probably another job, your personal obligations, as well as trying to hunt for this internship. If you are just starting out in the program, you should be looking in the very first quarter or semester, depending on, again, what track you're on and whatnot. Next, I recommend you clarify with both your advisor and the social work field office when your exact start date is. I really wish I was exaggerating, and I'm not trying to rush you, but trust me, not only did I learn the hard way the first year, but I've seen my own classmates either not find and secure a placement in time, but I've also seen people dropped, which I want to help you prevent from those horror stories from happening. So the second step is to have your resume updated and easily accessible. I recommend you have an updated paper and electronic copy of your resume ready at all times. A paper resume would obviously be printed out on paper, put it in a nice looking folder or a nice looking binder. For your electronic copies, you can either have it on a USB, on your Google Drive, or maybe your email. But you should always have it ready, considering, you never know when you're going to meet, who you're going to meet, and when you're going to meet someone who may lead to an internship opportunity. I also recommend you should have your resume updated starting with your most recent position, preferably social work related. If you are working, interning, or volunteering, in a position that's not social work related, don't panic. Just update your resume in which social work is shown first, and then make another section that says non-social work related, And if you get a chance, get a second look or get a second opinion by someone in your professional network, someone in your personal network. Go to the library, look online. There are so many resources that are free in which you can utilize to get your resume ready for submission to internship sites. On another note, if you have a LinkedIn, it may benefit you to review it at this time. Go ahead and update it, or clean it up. If you don't have a LinkedIn and you think that that may help you reach out to more people, make one. It is considerably social media. It's not my favorite, but I have heard other people find use in LinkedIn. So it doesn't hurt to try it. That is another way of having a resume as well. The third step is to know the basics of Walden's MSW program. I suggest preparing a 3-sentence blurb explaining the program. Practice it if you need to. Be sure that it is quick and concise, because once you grab the attention of a potential internship site, you're only going to have a little window of time to really grab their attention. So again, you want to be quick and concise about what it is, what is your mission, and what is Walden. Prior to networking, have your start date in mind or have it written down. If you don't know the start of your internship date, when the paperwork would be due, when you need to have an updated resume, as well as Walden's program, you are not ready for the fourth step. The reason why I say this is because, again, as I mentioned in step 1, you're not at any other school. Walden does not have pre-existing partnerships where you just submit a form to the field office and then they just pair you. You literally have to start from the very beginning. So most times when you go out into the community, and from my experience, no one knows what Walden is. They may know other universities, like the really big like public school universities, but they probably don't know Walden. So I highly, highly recommend do your research and make sure you know what you are saying. The fourth step is to examine your current network. Questions you can ask yourself are: do I have a job, an internship, or volunteer position in which has social work related opportunities? If not, I strongly suggest you get one. One way of starting, especially if you have zero social work experience, is do a volunteer position and do it for at least 3 to 6 months. It will be very helpful in you talking to more people with MSWs or higher. Walden also is very supportive of work-related connections, so you can see who has an MSW in my existing job. You can also ask religious leaders or community leaders. Religion always emphasizes charity to others, so if they don't have opportunities, they may know someone or an agency that they're already partnered with. And another way is to check out your community's listserv. It is like a fancier, more trusted type of like Craigslist website for community happenings. And a last tip for this step is to see what nonprofits are in your community, in your neighborhood, in your county, in your city. Nonprofits are typically the easiest way to get an internship because teams are smaller. They're able to be more flexible than, say, a bigger corporation like a hospital, a government, a substance abuse outpatient facility, or whatnot, that tend to be more structured and strict of who they allow into their team. Thank you so much for taking the time to deep breathe or just take a break. I know that this is a lot of information. However, I can assure you that you will get through this program and you will find your internships. So again, thank you so much for hanging in there with me. So the fifth step is to do the physical applications. Some websites that I really like when I was looking for agencies were idealist.org, Volunteer Match, great nonprofits. You can also look at your local Department of Health and Human Services, Department of Health Services, Department of Human Services, or Department of Social Services, whatever your community calls it. You can also look at public school websites as well as military related websites. And when doing a search, do not limit yourself to just social work intern terms. You can also type in words like case coordinator, case management, behavioral health, volunteer intern, etc. And depending on what's best for you in your community, you may need to email them, and some may ask to mail, although I doubt it because it is 2020, but I would double check how you can get your resume to these agencies. And if you decide to call them, make sure you call them during a decent hour. Probably in the middle of the day is the best. I would say something like, "Hi, my name is such and such. I'm an MSW student with Walden University. I am calling today to inquire about any internships. If so, how can I apply?" I also want to emphasize, be confident. Yes, you do need to know a good amount of the program before you start reaching out to people. But even if you don't know the answer, you can say, "I appreciate that question and I don't know the answer, but I can get you some information soon." That way you are showing them, the agency, that you are serious. And the last thing is, keep in mind, most agencies want to see you as knowledgeable, serious, I apologize for that technological issue. What I was saying was, just to keep in mind, most agencies want to see you as knowledgeable, serious, professional, and such, even at the very first conversation. Not really sure why that is, but that was just something that I noticed. And I just want to emphasize, your goal is to make these agencies feel that they don't have to do so much work to get you into the agency. You have to put in the work. So I would say they probably put in like maybe 25% of the effort, and you got to put in the 75%. So the seventh step is communication with your agencies. Once you have solidified that they do have an internship or that someone is willing to take you on, I cannot stress this enough, but your communication should not just be in person, but also in email. The reason why email is so important is it not only holds yourself accountable, but it holds other people accountable who have said, "Hey, Joe Schmo, I got an internship for you," or "Hey, Joe Schmo, we can definitely take on an intern this semester." Emails also act as like a paper trail, so you can review what has been discussed. That way you don't waste your time, you don't repeat things. I also highly recommend to be specific in your emails and to be professional. So when you are professional, you always want to start with good morning, good afternoon, good evening, or dear, or hello, whatever your style is, comma. So dear internship supervisor, comma, return, and then whatever your message is, period, return, sincerely, comma, your name. Do not ever reply back, even if they do to you. You want to show them how professional you are. So do not reply like you're just chatting on Facebook or you're just sending a text. Reply like this is an email. Reply like you want this internship. Reply like this is a job. So the next step is going to your interview. I know this is obvious, but just want to repeat it just in case. You want to have basic interview skills. So that would be showing up on time. Even showing up 5 minutes early is good. Bring extra copies of your resume, as we talked about before. Electronic and paper copies. You want to bring a notepad, dress presentably, and put your phone on silent. Some questions that I highly recommend you think about before you go to your internship interview is: how did you learn about the agency? What interests you in working with the population that the agency serves? So example, if the agency works with children with autism, what interests you to work with children with autism? Can you speak to your social work experience thus far? What is your long-term goal with social work? What types of experiences would you like to gain? Tell me about a stressful situation at a prior work experience and how did you handle it? What is your current work schedule like? And what days would you be able to commit to an internship? And not really sure why agencies want to know this, but they always want to know, do you have reliable transportation? Do you have your driver's license right now? And so forth. And the last step is to politely stay on the agency's radar. What I mean by this is, once you've found a couple of agencies, you've done the interviews, and now you're waiting for them to say you've been accepted into our internship program and this is your start date, you do not want to call or email too much. You want to also have email etiquette as much as possible, and at the same time have phone etiquette. So kind of similar to what I talked about in a couple of steps ago. Make sure that you're still continuing to communicate professionally on email or on phone. And if you email or call too much, that might overwhelm them. They probably have other interns or other people that they're managing, and they might feel very off-put if you're reaching out to them too much. So just be mindful of that. It's okay to be anxious. It's okay to be worried. You really want to secure this, but make sure you're not overdoing it. I would highly recommend if you can follow up with them maybe once a week after the interview is over. And when you do once you do complete the interview, take a day or two and thank them and say thank you so much through email for giving me the opportunity. I look forward to hearing from you. And then I actually realized I didn't have this step, but you want to make sure after all of this is said and done, go ahead and communicate right away to your coordinator at your school, because they're the ones who are then going to go out and reach out to the agencies. So don't forget them. Anyways, thank you guys so much for tuning in for another podcast style video in relation to Walden. Please, again, feel free to reach out to me through the comments as long as we remain respectful of each other. And I am so excited for your MSW journey, and I can't wait to hear all about it. So best of luck, deep breathe, and remember, you got this and you are meant to be an MSW student. Take care.